Walking worries away. Roughly 3 troublesome thoughts cast to a waning west wind for every orphaned piece of kerbside bric-a-brac I almost tripped over. Serviceable items that I feel certain will make a renovated reappearance within Ada Commons' next car boot sale included 1 lightly worn breakfast bar stool, an armless armchair, and the very same wood-burning stove I saw being unloaded from the back of a van outside Shoreham's Fireplace Centre last Christmas. How swiftly time and trends doth fly. Spinning small subjects. Half a hobnob, or 50% of a Marmite rice cake? That is the question. Not to live or to perish, as the lead character of a famous Shakespearean tragedy asserts within his opening soliloquy. And the answer to this confounding conundrum depends wholly upon the consumer's circumstances and refined palate. In terms of submergibility, most habitual partakers of baked snacks alongside popular hot beverages would likely opt for the oat-based biscuit, since although bonded puffed rice better retains its structure and a greater degree of crunchiness after multiple dunks, I suspect not many tea connoisseurs would wish for the full-bodied flavour of their county-branded breakfast brew to be spoiled by a uniquely salty aftertaste. Of course, a tiny minority may decide, after savouring half a souvenir mug, that they'd have preferred a vegan-friendly Bovril. Despite neither of the aforementioned mass-marketed grocery products being on today's texted post-it note of non-essential indispensables, the most crucial of which happen to be remotely hand-harvested vine-ripened tomatoes, the trivial riddle they inspired accounted for the majority of my divided attention throughout yet another impromptu turn around the bewildering tangle of high-walled hedges and weather-worn tarmac that forms Shoreham's involuntary tribute to a certain Tudor palace's mind-warping maze. After being cuffed into my trademark stem-chinning crouch by the boisterous bluster of a resurgent west wind, and, several kilometres later, observing its fatal effects upon at least 2 of Sussex's signature flock of 6 golden martlets, I commenced a semi-structured workout, consisting of unsaddled microbursts along the beach loop's back and broad water straights, with soft pedal recoveries up and down its adjoining avenues. Retracing treads. Back in the dimming and ever more distant past, when amateur athletes could analyse their personal activity data without persistent algorithmic intervention from Strava's omnipresent motion police, and maintaining a beneficial level of physical fitness felt more like an inspiring goal than a societal obligation, during definitively homespun outings like these, I'd set myself the tricky challenge to tip-tread every road, throughway and false close of Shoreham's infinitely versatile velodrome at the fastest average speed and in as little distance possible, with no U-turns, curb hops or detours across pedestrianised areas being allowed, other than when potentially life-saving evasive action was unavoidable. Permission to exercise one's rights to perform any such prohibited manoeuvre should be officially sought under Section 12 of the Self-Preservation Act, whilst all submitted applications are either approved or denied, following thorough review by an appointed community representative. As I recall, from historic attempts, the shortest possible course length is a shade under 13 kilometres, regardless of one's starting point, and, assuming conditions remain neutral, can be ridden in fewer than 30 top-tempo minutes by any moderately fit cyclist on a reasonably priced road bike. However, with so many potential pinch points, mobile hazards and tight turns, safety should be your priority. A fair few furlongs of superfluous travel on this occasion, and well below record-setting pace, not least due to drag-deficient clothing and mounting resistance from a stern southeasterly alliance, though every extra lungful of endorphinated oxygen was well worth the trade-off in performance and kudos. Mum's maritime meander. And before any statistically predisposed people watchers, harnessed by Strava's machine-managed fitness tracking service, attempt to cast their autonomous eyes over the pivotal metrics of this wholly recreational shuffle, permit me to divulge that our shared average pace matched that of the lone magpie we observed marching along the grassy verges of Winterton Way. Throughout roughly 15 outbound minutes, we kept cautious distance, whilst this proud piebald rogue strutted across clusters of daisies and dandelions that fluttered in fear whenever its broad tail feathers brushed their fragile petals, hoping not to be trampled to their untimely demise beneath its formidable talons. This observational interval resulted in an unusually high step-to-distance ratio, averaging around 1.5 mid-footed strides per metre of crazy paving, though lateral stability remained excellent, whilst only minor pronation was detected on my familial elder's left heel, due to excessive sole wear. Cherry, Church, Chow. A profoundly reflective role, taken at the most measured pace that my mortal instincts would allow, and best musically embodied by a mindful interpretation of the angelic humming chorus that I mumbled through on a perpetual loop, all the way from Beach Green's blossoming Guardian, past our Good Shepherd's idyllic seaside sanctuary, and finally back across the threshold of my humble abode. This hauntingly beautiful melody features in the historic and universally heralded opera Madame Butterfly, composed by the great and late Romantic master Giacomo Puccini, who carried out comprehensive revisions to the work following a disastrous premiere performance he'd attended in 1904. These artistic and intuitive alterations met with the audience's unanimous approval a year later. The sublime interlude occurs in the work's second act, and remains one of those rare occasions within classical operatic repertoire when human voices are used purely as instruments, requiring no lyrics to express the music's mood, convey its underlying narrative, nor amplify the emotional resonance that its lilting theme, nuanced dynamics, and ethereal texture are sure to evoke within the charmed listener. The choir's wordless incantation consists of numerous harmonic key changes, rendered in ascending and descending intervals, on both major and minor scales. This softly phrased melodic line alternates with the orchestra's accompanying arpeggios, which are played by pizzicato strings and woodwinds. 3/4 of an otherwise silent witching hour well spent.